out here fighting demons. We done stepped into a life that got us out here fiending. That money be the root of all evil, could kill us all. My homie had a bad addiction and died to an overdose of fentanyl. My other homie doing 30, killing with fentanyl. I just make sure I'm by the phone every time he call. Ever so dope, we all make some bad choices. Some of us get a second chance while others pay for it. The money in the drug got these women selling they soul. They done legalized weed, now everybody smoking drugs. People out here getting high, forgetting they got keys. Double cupping all night on that lean getting lit. Pumping that dog food, aka that heroin. Another mother just lost a child to something that's embarrassing. We need to make a change and break the cycle, all this foolishness. Every day, every so dope, we keep on losing keys.
So Dope.
And this is Kathy with Ever So Dope.
Today we're doing something a little different. We have multiple stories from multiple women, and they're going to be sharing their successes.
Their highs, their lows, and their in-betweens, how they got to today. We're calling this episode Finding Hope. There is recovery in addiction. We hope you enjoy it, and we'll add some more information at the end of the
podcast. My name is Angela, and I'm currently 44 years old. What brought me to my first time of sobriety was I've been using since I was 13 years old. Around 1920, I had graduated to using the needle. So my dad told me to either quit or be on the street. So I quit, and Lord and behold, I found out I was pregnant with my firstborn, my son, and I was 2 months pregnant. And I didn't know it, and he pretty much saved me. I was clean for 20 years, sobriety for 20 years, and then they grew up on me, and I guess I felt lonely, and I met somebody, and I relapsed after 20 years. So here I am trying to find that sobriety back again, and this place has helped me a lot, and I appreciate them having me here. So, thank you.
My lowest point was when I was living in my car, sleeping in the back seat, and didn't have enough money to run the air conditioner for gas. It was in the middle of July, and I cried myself to sleep. I had a picture of my kids on my armrest in a picture frame that I kept because I was living in my car. It was my house. So I fell asleep, crying myself to sleep, looking at their picture, and just praying to God that He could get me out of that situation. Little did I know that I would be arrested about a month later, and I didn't even know programs like the Evers House existed. I just knew it was going to be way too hard to get back to where I was, or to even get back into society as a normal functioning person without help. It was just so difficult with starting with nothing. So I know we're supposed to talk about what our highest point is, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm getting there. And where I'm at now is I have a great job, a warm home, a comfortable home, and lots of sisters to hang out with and talk with and have fun drama sometimes. But my highest point will be my goal, which is to be out and to be a normal mom again with a house and a home base for my kids. Thanks.
Addiction, it can really hit anybody. I'm not telling my story. I'm telling my son's story here quickly. He passed, fentanyl, poisoned, and he struggled for about 10 years. And I know that his lowest point was the day that he died, because he was extremely sad about his children and his ex-wife and her keeping them away for various reasons, not because he was using, because he wasn't at that point. He had ups and downs for 10 years. He had long periods of sobriety, and then he would crash and burn for a few days, and he would go to rehab and back and forth and back and forth. Had great moments in those 10 years and some really sad moments in those 10 years, but his lowest point would have been the day that he died. He took something that he thought was Xanax, and it ended up being fentanyl, and it killed him. He came from a family with a lot of support, a lot of love, a very stable environment, and both parents hands-on. And so we had a good life and a good family, and so it happened to us. And I work in recovery, so it can happen to anybody.
Hi, I just wanted to tell a little bit of my backstory. I've been in recovery for 5 years. At my lowest point, I was homeless. I ended up with congestive heart failure. I had a couple of heart attacks. I had nobody on my side. My whole family, they tough loved me. They had enough, and they just didn't want me around them. So when I was sitting in jail the last time, I realized I have nobody to call. I have made everybody upset. And everybody pushed me away. And that was my wake up moment, realizing I had no one in my corner. I didn't have my child. I had no one. And that is whenever I changed my whole life around. And I've been in recovery for 5 years. This is something that touches my heart, and I hope that I can help someone else.
Cassie, and 4 years ago I was homeless, living on the streets, doing drugs. I overdosed 4 times, and then I got pregnant and went to jail. And that's when I decided enough was enough. I contacted Kathy at the Evers house and asked for help. I went through her program, and now I'm 2 years clean. I'm living in my own home. I'm engaged. I have a job, and I have custody of both my boys. The Evers house has completely changed my life for the better.
Hey guys, we're back, and those ladies were previous clients in our recovery residence program, the Evers House, and I think one of them had actually been a guest, one of our first podcasts ever. But these are some of the women that have come through our program, and they're successful in their recovery right now. And you see a lot of similarities between women in recovery, don't you agree?
Yes, a lot of it's trauma, people trying to self-medicate from abuse or sexual trauma, and so there always seems to be a pattern. Everyone is different, of course, but a lot of similarities, and I think with a lot of these women, they came from, probably not the best background, and they had trauma and tried to self-medicate.
I'd say they probably have some abandonment type issues that they're dealing with still because of the way that they're raised. And I was one of the speakers on this, and my son had a stable home and a stable mother and a stable father figure, and all the things that he should have been okay. But what people don't realize is that substance abuse disorder, addiction, is a disease of the brain, recognized just like depression or bipolar schizophrenia. So I say this to people all the time, and I know they get sick of hearing it. They don't wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to go F up my life today. I'm just going to go just ruin my life today and any hope that I have because I'm going to use drugs. So that's what people don't understand about addiction.
It stops being a choice, and people get in way over their head. It all starts off innocent, going to a party in your teenage years and having a couple of drinks, and then it leads to marijuana, and then next thing you know, about 5 years has passed by you, and you didn't even realize.
Some of them can party and recover and get up and continue on, but when you have this substance abuse disorder, your brain is wired differently than someone who does not. So that, we try to educate about addiction and tell children, just don't do it, because you don't know.
Yeah, unless you're predisposed to it.
Correct, unless you have a long list of family members who are addicts, and if you do, then you don't probably need to drink or do drugs.
I think that from my experience, you're raised around certain things that you think is normal, and you start to do them, and then it just grabs a hold of you.
Right.
And people predisposed, like Kathy said, just shouldn't even touch it.
That's it.
You're playing Russian roulette, and some people are able to. Most people aren't, though.
Right. And with fentanyl, so illicit fentanyl, so available and in most street drugs now, it's just too dangerous to even like you said, it's like Russian roulette. So.
Even marijuana, and that's what's really scary. You have these teenagers who are in high school, and they just want to have a good time, and that'll cost them their life.
Yep. Yep.
It's
And
terrifying.
that's what everybody needs to understand. It will affect them. It is not if, it is when. And so we all need to be prepared for that, and we need to educate our families and our children and be prepared. And then reach out for help if you need help, and don't be ashamed of wanting to get help. I think it takes very strong, wonderful people to admit they have a problem and reach out to someone and ask for some help.
That is also why we push Narcan so much, which we are. The Evers House is a state-approved Narcan distributor, and you can call our telephone number 888-509-3481.
And that will connect you with folks who actually do care about your journey, and will try to hook you up with positive resources. Even if you don't live here in the Bay County, Panama City, Florida Panhandle area, we will actually do the work and try to get you with folks that can help you. Celebrate Recovery. It's all over the nation. There are all kinds of faith-based recovery programs because it is a substance abuse disorder is a disease of the brain. However, we know the healer, you
Plays a big part
gotta
in
have
it.
God in our lives to get through any of this. So we just wanted to share a few stories. We're so extremely proud of these women when they leave us and they do well. And we get a Christmas card, or we get an invite, or we get a picture of their babies. And just I got a call last week. I was at a baseball game, and I got a phone call, and she called me 2 or 3 times, and so finally I answered it, and she said, I just wanted to tell you that, and I knew who she was. I didn't have to, I already knew the voice. She said, I just want to tell you, Miss Kathy, I got my driver's license back. And I had to think about it for a second. Well, she was one of my very first clients at the Evers House, like over 7 years ago, and her facing prison. And she has no probation. She has gotten married. She has a baby. She has a job. She moved from this area, and she finally got everything behind her and her driver's license. And she wanted to call us to tell us that she made it. And so we were so proud of that. And when they do, and it makes us realize that the headaches and the trauma and the drama that Jennifer and I go through on a daily basis, this is not an easy job to have, to work with people in recovery. We feel their pain, we struggle with them, we cry with them, we want to choke them sometimes. But it takes a special person like Jennifer to jump on this ship and handle it the way that she does.
Well, it is something that you said about getting Christmas cards and getting pictures. It makes it all worth it to be a small part of their journey in life that made a big impact. That's a beautiful thing.
It is. So we are Jennifer and Kathy. We are Ever So Dope, and that's our information for this week. She gave you the phone number earlier. If you have any questions, any comments, want to get a hold of us, you can always call that toll-free number. We'd love to talk to you. You guys have a great night.